I'll wait till your footprints go and then you do 3, 2, 1, yeah?
Three, two, one, action.
Hi guys. So I know normally there's a load of energy, and I'm normally here with another person, Dean. I don't even know how to start this, to be honest. So yesterday, Dean and I we were invited to a conference I'm so nervous, I've written bits and pieces down because I'm going to forget everything. I know it's NASAP, but I'd forget sorry, I'm totally messing this up. It's not how I planned it. National Supported Accommodation Conference yesterday. And I was invited along there to promote a book, which I wrote in 2009. And it's called Leon: A Lost Childhood. I got a few funny looks, I'm not going to lie, when people came into the author's corner, and we had 3 other amazing authors, and my table was bare. We just had some little postcards and some business cards. I'm so nervous, honestly. I've done like media stuff for 20 odd years, and this is this is the first time I literally feel like my soul is completely bared, and I can't hide behind bravado, confidence, anything like that. So I didn't have any books. It was written a long time ago. You can still buy it on Amazon and Waterstones and places like that. However, I didn't have a stack of books to sell, because for me, it wasn't about selling this book, because it was written so long ago. This book was written who I was 16 years ago. These were my feelings and emotions, and they're very much different to today. And I think the abusers in this book, when I was child sex trafficked, have really gotten away with everything, really. Because I realised all of this on the way home yesterday from that amazing conference. I put a post up early this afternoon to say how incredible it was being in the Vox conference place. And there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. The place was packed. All of these amazing people, all of these amazing speakers. And on the way home from there, coming back here, I don't know. I've processed everything. Well, I think I have, to do with all the trauma of the first probably 36 years of my life. This book only goes up to 16. I'm going to put that down because it looks like I'm promoting it, and that's what this is about. It's not. I was asked to go along there by who's become a really good friend, Janelle. And it was basically to have a platform to speak about trauma and to speak about my care experience, trauma experience, lived experience. And with the things that I've gone through, it's like a competition. It's like ticking off a checklist, because it's so complex. I try and be an advocate for people who have suffered horrific childhood, had the childhood taken away, stolen, the anger that it leaves, and the work you have to go into to heal your inner child. And I will get through this, because yesterday what I realized was I couldn't tell people were coming to my stand, and Dean and I were there with the Power of Dog stuff and explaining about the show. And what happened was we had like a massive TV, like 68-inch TV from the living room, put it in the car to drive there, and we had it was like a 3-minute feature that was going to be playing because we had no books. So we chose to do that instead. And there was information on there about me, about the things I'd suffered and the experiences I'd gone through by the age of 14, by the age of 18, I think. I can't even remember. And I just felt like people were telling me how inspiring it was, how brave I was, how much courage I had. And I thought, I can't even go into bits of detail that I've not spoken about before, because I'd prepared this for this conference. And every time I went to say certain things, I couldn't finish them because I would start crying. And then I had to compose myself and pull myself together. And I was just really, really upset and annoyed that I just couldn't even bring myself to say sentences from something that I'd written. Yet, knowing I'd process these things in my head. Because when it's down on paper and you're talking about it and you're saying all of these things, there's just certain things that all of it really. It's literally just a few sentences. And I wanted to do this because I wanted to finish it. I wanted to finish what I was talking about yesterday and sharing. Because if 500, I think it was, if 500 people can go and gather at a place where they are going to learn, to continue learning, to educate, even though they've got masses and masses of qualifications, they're already in the job they do, with adult supported living, youth supported living, care homes, all of these places, social workers, psychologists, and they're going along to listen about other people's opinions, other people's findings, other people's... Sorry, this is where ADHD really goes into its own, and it catches me out because I can't think of the words to use, even on the simple words. So, I'm going to read this out, and I'm going to read it out without having a meltdown, really. And I just want to finish the story that all of those lovely, kind, wonderful human beings came to see us, to see what we had to say. And some of you, thank you so much. I could tell you were genuinely interested and that you cared and that you saw what it is we're trying to do, to be an advocate for so many different causes. You know, I'm a trauma survivor of child sex trafficking, abuse, physical, psychological, mental, emotional torture. 14 years of it, my first 14 years of my life. And when you're delving into that, you almost gloss over it, because to me, it sounds like I'm repeating myself when I say when I tell certain stories about what my carers did to me and how they made me feel, and how they went about just literally almost destroying me. And they didn't. I ran away. And I ran away. And that very same night that I ran away, after 14 years of abuse from 6 weeks old to 14, I met this person who's in the book, the character Jamie, false name. And I was on a park bench and I was approached, and he basically invited me to him and his girlfriend's house. Come to ours, we'll give you some food and stuff. And the trust in this, I remember just jumping off the bench and going, okay, thank you. And then all the way home yesterday, all I could visualize was me, as in a 50-year-old Leon. I could feel myself reaching and just wanting to say, Leon, don't go. Don't go. And then it really hurt me that this boy, this 14-year-old boy, this 14-year-old me, was so comfortable and so happy that this person was going to look after me. I didn't question it. And the thing is, they did look after me. They took me into the home. I think I was there for 8 days, maybe 7. And Jamie, his girlfriend, she was so lovely. And I think the realization that I don't know if she was lovely or she was part of it, I don't know. But I will know when all of this comes out, because I sat last night and I cried because I thought, surely they weren't part of it. And to sit and not even know and still question whether you were right to think that was a lovely person and that they had, when you were taken away by Jamie, on the pretense that you're going to visit some friends in London, going on the train. And I went with him. I had no inclination of anything was wrong. This man was looking after me with his partner and the baby, and he said, I've got to go to London. Have you ever been to London? Would you like to go? And I went. So me and him were going on this exciting trip to London. And, you know, obviously it wasn't an exciting trip. It was to get taken somewhere, to be groomed and used, and for somebody to set things up. And each time you go to a different city, Newcastle, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, each time you go, there's somebody there because they're going to look after you, because his girlfriend has phoned the police and we are going to protect you. We don't want the police to find you. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep moving you. And then I'd move, and it's almost like witness protection. I'd settle there. And then there'd always be somebody, there'd always be a man involved where they were the caretaker of this flat that's empty. They rent it out. It's a holiday home. And I look at it now and I think, how the hell did I not even notice? But I didn't. And I was used by these people. I was used by these people as a commodity. Every time I went somewhere else and I'm in the back of the car, going to the next place, excited to see where I was going. Bear in mind, I've had to have sex with people, but I didn't feel like I'd had to have it because they just, I don't know. Just, there's still things I can't actually comprehend or put into words, because you think, well, Why did you have sex with these people? Because they looked after me, because they cared for me, because they were showing me love and affection. And they weren't beating me. They weren't calling me a pig. They weren't taking everything away from me, because I had freedom, or so I thought. So last night I was apologising to 14-year-old Leon, saying, I'm so sorry. And I had massive therapy to heal my inner child. And I'd moved on. But there's still things left that I still have an emotional attachment to, in that they are so raw, I can't even... Right, I'm going on, and this is going to end up being an hour show, and it's not meant to be that. So here's the things that I couldn't say yesterday, that I couldn't show on a TV screen, because I'm going to start laughing now. On our way to the conference, I opened the boot and the TV fell out of the boot, smashed all over the floor. And on that, we had like a thing that sticks in, a dongle-y thing, I don't know, Dean will tell you. With this little 3-minute video on with this information. And I hadn't had to put this information together again. I literally did it the night before, but we were up till like 3 a.m. But yeah, that was me in care. A life of abuse, ridicule, and led to believe that my mum was filth. She was a murderer. She didn't want me, because if she did, where was she? When I never believed it. I never believed my mum was a murderer, even though I didn't know the circumstances. And to find out only 6 years ago, that she wasn't. She didn't poison him. She didn't kill him. He committed suicide. And I had to do justice for her as well. And she suffered a lifetime of hell and torment, and actually not getting to see her son. But people would still judge her, and still judge her to this day. Well, you wouldn't have let them go. You wouldn't let your kids go. You didn't do anything to come back for them. She didn't come back through shame, through all kinds of things. So the people that say them things, and still say them, and for all of the family and friends that disowned me because I found her again, contacted her, and I made an apology to her, because I apologised to her for everything she'd had to go through. Been raped from 12 years old, been told she was a liar, get put into care because they didn't believe her. These are like people's families, people's blood. And I know these things go on, but it's about putting things right. It's an injustice. So these are the traumas I'd suffered by the age of 14. Having suffered almost every possible trauma, psychological, physical, emotional torture, abducted, held in captive, and sex trafficked. I'm saying this for the first time as well, by the way, people who in my life after this happened don't even know about this. And even to read it, because I've got children, I love children. My first child, I had to face the death of my first child. At 15, attempted to commit suicide and was in a world, a nightmare of complete abandonment. By 22, I then went on to experience the feeling of cold metal, the smell of gunpowder, and what staring into the barrel of a loaded shotgun is truly like. You would have thought anyone that knows me didn't know I would know that. I was domestically abused, made homeless, left starving and eating from bins to survive. And then at 24, this would have been so much better on slides on a TV. I'd shed the burdens of my past. I knew how to do it. I knew how to shed those burdens. Just douse it in fuel. Ignite the flame and surrender. And my last memory of that chapter was the sickening smell of my hair. My hair from the flames, because it wasn't a metaphor. I needed help. I wanted help. After all them things, and I'm still only 24, and I just wanted to die. And I went to the doctor expecting something. What do I do? How do I stop all this? I've come to the end. And he gave me advice. I can't even remember what he said. You don't need medication for this. It's things from the past that it's in the past, basically. And as shocking as that sounds, that still happens to this day. And I remember leaving the doctor's room, and between the doctor's room and reception, I was looking down not an alleyway, like a hallway, and the reception was packed. And I remember walking, thinking, I can't leave here. I can't live here. What happens if I leave here? And it's weird because it was like the thoughts were of fear, terror. I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Make them listen. And that's what that piece was about. The smell of my hair from the flames. And as I opened my eyes, I faced the biggest trauma of all. I'd lived. What happened was, every time I open my eyes, my nightmares begin over and over again. A lifetime of complete isolation, solitude, emptiness that I would never escape. Feeling like that, I can't even connect to that now, because to not want to live, to every morning you wake up, I suppose it's for people when they wake up and they're like, I'm still here. But as I was walking from the doctor's waiting room, the receptionist looked at me, and I don't know how I made the decision, I don't know why I made the decision, but I literally went out of the doctor's, walked round the corner into a local shop, and went back to the doctor's, and in the middle of the waiting room, I literally walked in right in front of the receptionist, and she said, "Oh, did you forget something?" And I said, "Can I see the doctor again, please?" And she said, "No, all these people are waiting." I said, "Please, please, please, let me see the doctor again." I have to see him. I don't want to go home. And she said, no, you'll need to make another appointment. So I thought, right. I think when I went to the shop, it was like a threat. It was like, if I say I'm going to do something, they'll let me see him. But she wouldn't. And conscious, but unconsciously, subconsciously, I don't know what it is, I literally stood there and I got this bottle of lighter fluid and I just poured it all over, dripping down me. It was in my eyes. And all I can say is, I realised what I'd done once I'd done it, the fear, the shock, oh my God, I've just done it. And I just got the lighter and I just stared at her and I just lit it. And my whole body went up in flames in the middle of this waiting room. And for anyone that was there, if you ever see this, I'm sorry. And now you know why I did it and the desperation. And I wasn't some psychopath that was setting his cell on fire in front of your children or doing. That is the reason. People have reasons for everything, like in moments of despair. Sorry. I used that to wipe the screen on this earlier. Which brings me to my next part. When I was being trafficked, I'm disclosing this now because I've promised myself if I don't do it, if I push myself to do it, if I don't do it, I'll let it linger and not do what I didn't even realise I needed to do. When I was 16, I had a girlfriend and I disclosed to her that I'd had sex with men. But I explained to her the whole thing and confided in her. I told no one. I literally went back to my foster carers. I wasn't there long. I was like there a week. And then I just shut down and that was the end of that. And I just opened up one day and told her what had happened. And she was so upset. I was upset. And I thought she was going to dump me. But she didn't. She was so angry, so upset. And I didn't know. But later on that night, she was so traumatised by what I told her. She had gone to one of the care staff and said that she basically told them what I'd said and she didn't know what to do. And she asked that something be done about it. So you can imagine my shock when I got taken into the office at the care home and they said there's been a serious allegation made. And I didn't understand what they meant. An allegation, what? And they said, did you tell this girl that this has happened? I went, yeah. And I was just so angry because I felt, why would she do that? Why would she betray me and tell them? But even then, I knew why she'd done it. She'd done it for me to get help. Within the space of an hour, the police were there at the children's home and demanded to take a statement. They wanted to know who these people were and what I'd done, what I had done. And I'm sitting there in front of, there was about 4 policemen, 3 care home staff and me, just surrounded. And they start probing me and asking me who this person was. Is this true? So I gave them the name of this person in the book, the character Jamie. And